everybody. It is great to be here again. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I've had 17 years worth of startups. 17 startups, not 17 years. 37 years worth of startup experience in terms of years. I've done 17 companies. I've been involved in 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software that was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded with Dr. David Yang 5.5 years ago. Wow, it seems like yesterday. So today I'm the CEO, chairman, and co-founder of GST Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio that's located in Silicon Valley. And we believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world and opportunities aren't. And with that, I would like to bring on my extraordinary guest, Mru Patel, who's the chairman and co-founder of MyTokenized Capital. And his company was awarded the Tokenized Asset Platform of the Year for 2021 at AIBC in Dubai. So with that, I'd like to bring Mru on. Hi, Mru. How are you?
Hey, Gary. How you doing? Long time no see. A few months, rather.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's been a few months ago, and it's great to have you on my show. You know, we've been around the block a few years, and
absolutely.
I know you had a lot of experience. You were at Sun Microsystems.
Yep.
Back in those days.
Yep.
So, you know, you've had a great journey. How do you go from Sun Microsystems, Mru, to where we are today? What was that journey like?
Well, and you, the folks, we've had that chat before. You know, we were great visionaries, ahead of our times, many would say, because when the .com and Java and all that started, we were talking about everything that's happening now. We didn't call it cloud computing. We called it the network's the computer. We didn't call it smartphones. We called them Java phones or thin clients, you know. We didn't call it big bandwidth. We called it fat pipes in those days. Mm-hmm. We didn't call them big hosts. We used to call them just big farms, you know. And
I remember. You know something? I remember this, Mru. I remember this situation. I went into Salesforce office when they were first getting started, and there was 5 or 6 people in the office. And excuse me, they were talking about thin clients back many years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, this is interesting, but what about ACT and some of these other tools that were out there? And I remember there, and they said, this guy's a genius. Mark Benioff is a genius, you know. And
there you go. So where do I go from there, you were saying? So being right at those days and being involved with the really early start, I said, okay, I had enough of corporate life. I said, let me get to my passion, which was real estate investment. I set up 2 investment funds, exited it. And then in the last crisis, I said, now how do I bring all of this together? And I had a very good, clear vision, even 10 years ago, saying, you know, banks have got to be disrupted. People need banking rather than banks. Social media, the big tech are taking advantage of us, the product, us, the client. We've got to change that model. People looking and seeing advertising through the digital media, that model's got to change. And just how I did the real estate investment, I said, you know, what we are doing was taking real estate, making them into real pieces, different shareholders, into SPVs, and selling them to share the profit better than a traditional REIT or an investment fund where there's too many middlemen, too many costs. So I said, how do I bring all of this 3 things together into a tokenized asset platform whilst sharing the profit back with all the community? So that's the model we created with MyTokenized Capital, using all the technologies, using AI blockchain for our community rewards protocol, for our active interaction protocol. So anybody who interacts with the platform will get paid for. So even if you're watching an ad, you get paid for. If you're doing a like, share, comment, you get paid for. If you're buying something, the creator gets more money and the community as well gets the finance shared. So from transaction fees, ads revenue, etc., all gets shared. And what we are trying to do now, that model, is to take it to the next level and increase by bringing the whole metaverse side of the NFT movement. I don't like the word NFT, by the way. I call it any asset, and it shouldn't be just piece of art, music, whatever. It should be absolutely any asset. And also that market, I think, is
Hey,
not
Mru,
right.
I got a question for you. Okay.
Go for it.
Now you got to tell me, I've seen some really kooky things, right? That they've had NFTs. And I've heard about it because I actually met some of the people that have had them. I mean, literally, they had this one group, rock group, put up some, a face on, make it, on a picture, and drew a face on it, and they got like $500,000 for this thing. Like, it wasn't a big deal. Like, seriously, not a big deal. Like, put in a smiley face or whatever.
Well, have you seen the CryptoPunk series? How much they go for? And
No.
there's
How much?
thousands of these. If you look at it, you'll think like, wow, we did this 25 years ago when those first, little games on those little Nintendo started. It's pixelized like that. Yet they're going for a lot. But to answer your question, where it started.
But no, how can it be, though? I don't know about you, but I'm trying to figure it out. Just seriously, how can it be that this stuff's going so much? How do we find the value? I'm not saying it's not there. I just, some of these things, yes, if it's a Picasso, I can get it, right? But how can it be? How can
So here's my view on it. I think it is overhyped. It is oversold. However, what is happening behind it now, and it all stems from the gaming industry. So when you're playing all these games, people buy things to take them to the next level, next level, next level. So it's those people who trade just like those collectible cards, they trade that, and each one price to enter into some form of a game. Now, where I see this going forward is the whole world is now looking at, you've heard for the last couple of years, metaverse movement. So it's that gaming thing that people or our kids have experienced, then the real world things that we know about, to bring it into a new world where you can buy real estate, you can buy a piece of land, you could buy a shopping mall, you could divide it, and that's where it's going.
I get that, right? Because I can feel and touch it. I'm just trying to figure out how these cyberpunks and so
what happens? Yeah. So Gary, what happens is those sorts of cards, should they then be included into some form of a metaverse game, each one has a value. So it depends on, I always say, check the utility of some of these things because it's overpriced. Same thing like that Beeble thing, okay? I mean, $69 million, and there's lots of conspiracy about these as well, by the way. But $69 million for a digital piece of art of 5,000 pieces joined together. It's all down to what the buyer is going to do with it. So if they have a plan, like just now, there's lots of land plots being sold with building houses, shopping malls, and people will start to create game to, just like a monopoly of the future with virtual reality goggles, and play this game with money, which is all digital cards.
I mean, okay, so
and it's crazy.
And so you're playing this game with digital cards, right? And it's for real estate, and it's like Monopoly. Yes. Let's just hope we don't get the go to jail card, right?
And some of the companies will go to jail.
So you get the companies you don't go to. But I'm trying to figure out, okay, so you're playing this stuff. I mean, it's a lot of money when you're talking about $69 million or $500,000 for somebody spending 5 minutes on something. How in the world can we justify? I'm not saying it's not there, but I used to collect autographs, right? And you could see if it's a real autograph and confirm that it's could be interesting. If it's Albert Einstein or George Washington or Marquise de Lafayette, whatever. I'm just trying to figure out, I think you're right. Some of this stuff is overpriced.
It is. A lot of it. Not some. A lot of it is.
But then that Dutch tulip phenomenon, do you think that's going to have an impact on the other products and services? Because people say, how can this be worth so much money? I don't believe it.
Yes. I'm of the same count because a lot of it is overpriced, overrated. So what I think will happen is, you know, like a good old fashioned thing when a new crypto coin like the Dogecoin and Shibas and all this nonsense you hear, you get a few celebs jump on it and it bumps up the price and then they dump it. Guess who is doing it? They are doing the dump. You remember it in .com days where you had any Java app .com site open up, the stock price pumped. Why? Because it was just a fad. Hey, hearsay coming, price pumps. But the bad actors are the ones pumping it. Then they dump on it, and the honest people are left with holding a bloody pony, you know, and that's not fair.
It. I remember the pets.com.
Yes, and that's what's happening in the NFT space right now, in my view. A lot of it is like that. So what I've said is there's only 150,000 real NFT investors. Now, to make it fair, I'm saying start just doing it like any token asset. So try and split it. If you're buying a building, which is expensive, 50 people can buy it. You say you do collectibles. So do I. I have tons of memorabilia. So,
Mru, I can get that, right, with a hotel. If you really own a hotel, right, and there's 50 people, and it really democratizes the opportunity. I get that. Democratizes the opportunity to invest. It's just
but the same, Gary, is in the virtual world now. So what will happen is a whole game will get monetized. So a punk card, depends on which level you are. This punk card is worth more than that punk card. That punk card is worth more than that card. So it becomes a game, like a Game of Thrones kind of scenario. So I get that, but not at that silly value. Not at that silly value. How many people can play games at that value? This is the issue. It's a limited amount. So what I think will happen, you'll get fractionalized versions of it. And that's what we've developed.
I think you're right. The fractionalized version is right. I think that's right on target.
Because it makes it more financially inclusive as well.
And then where's the money coming from for these games? When you're talking about $500,000, 69 million, you're not talking about small money. I mean, you got to be ultra high net worth individuals. Are they just bored? Or where's this money coming from?
So this is what I'm saying. So what's happening is the real big future funds or ultra high net worth who are building some sorts of meta universe games and things like that, they know where the money will come from, because they buy, even if they buy 100, 200 million worth, some of these gaming companies are making a fortune, because think about the revenue sources they get from. They get revenue from the game. They get revenue from each card they buy, the levels they play, participation, the adverts revenue, all of those transaction fees, exchange rate fees, all of the additional fees they make on it. So to get 200 million back on that investment, they can do it like that. So that is the game. So because if you even think of 10 million players in one of these games, imagine how many transactions are happening on a second basis. Per second, how many transactions are happening? Even if they charge half a cent per transaction, it's money. Because you'll have hundreds of millions of transactions happening every year, right? Then think about all the revenues that come on it. Then think about the exchange fees they need to convert it, or deposits, withdrawals, loans, structured loans, ledge loans, all of these things go on top of it. So that's the business model where the future is going.
Ah, that's interesting. So tell us a little bit about, I know you mentioned MyTokenized Capital. So can you tell us a little bit more about it in terms of where you're going to go with it? I mean, you talk about fractionalized investment. You talk about be your own bank and wealth manager. I mean, what is it? So where is it and how can people get involved in it?
So I didn't want to release the whole thing now because I'm going to go big bang. You know, my .com days taught me, when sometimes too early for something, it's too early. You talked about it with thin clients, So we're doing the next level where it will be big. So what we want to do now and developing is a way where people can get engaged at any level, just like a Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all these people who are posting things and they have followings of a few tens, thousands, millions of followers, right? Now imagine if they can digitize and tokenize that, their own fan base will be able to buy it, right?
Got it.
Even if they paid $10, $20, $100, now you made it accessible to the people who are making them famous, and now you made it more financially inclusive, and you've made it more socially inclusive. Why wouldn't me, a star with tens of thousands of followers, want to pay people like that? I would have no issues with it. If they like it, share it, comment it, I would have no issues with it. So we've tokenized all of this into our two protocols that I mentioned, community reward protocol and active interaction protocol. So all the revenues, everything, I'm going to disrupt this with 80% going out to the public, to the community, 80% going out. So that's the disruption now. So the little people who just doing likes or sharing or something can at least eat, even if they eat $1, you know, in some parts of the world, that's fantastic. But you've made it financially inclusive. And then be your own bank and wealth manager. If they're doing this, they'll have their own wallet. They don't have to go to middleman and pay banking fees. And in some parts of the country, it's between 5 and 10% to do remittances. And it's stupid, right? It's a lot of money. Or even $2, $3 for doing remittances is a lot of money. I know Western Union and all these guys do at high cost. But now if you've got this technology, which is totally decentralized, transaction fees are in the 0.004 cents. Why are you charging so much? So give the money back to the community. And that's what we've taken the challenge to build for the last 2 years. And we're nearly there.
That's great. And when's it going to be out?
January.
That's great. Well, that sounds good. So we look forward to it. So what else is happening? So we talk about NFTs. You mentioned Shiba and Dogecoin. What do you think about these cryptocurrencies? Some of them coming out right now. I mean, is there too much fluff and not enough? I mean, how does somebody go out? You know a lot about it. How does somebody go out and say that's a cryptocurrency that I want to invest in? Which, how do you make that determination?
Yeah, I mean, I get this asked all the time. My answer to this is what, like 10,000 plus coins out there, right? I would say 95% of them don't even have any form of utility for a start. So if you can't use it, there's not going to be any transactions going on around it. So what are you reliant on? You're reliant on some famous people who pump it and dump it. So who are the people who make the money? The famous people, not the average person who's been conned to buy into it, okay? I've seen this in the .com era. I'm seeing it here for the last 3 years as well. So what happens, sorry to name him out, the Elon Musks of the world and the sports personalities say, you should buy Doge, you should buy Bitcoin, you should buy this, then the other. Guess who's doing the pumping and dumping, right? So it is unfair. That whole model is unfair. So look at the utility of the coin. If it doesn't have a utility, you are then competing with coins that have a store of value because you're only using it for a store of value then.
Right.
So then you're competing with the likes of Bitcoins of the world, okay? Which has a store of value. By utility, I mean, if the coin or the blockchain technology is doing something and has a transaction model to it, and a lot of them do, like the Ethereum, Solana, Matic of the world, etc., they have some utility going on. Those are the ones to buy because it's now run as a business rather than a fashion coin. So fashion coins go in and out just like fashion do, right? And stay away, my view, unless you want to gamble, then go for the gamble. If you're a gambling type of an investor, do the gambles. But if you're an investor with sound mind and strategy and all these things, then go for a coin that has a good business model, that has a very good, solid team, that has made and lost millions and knows how to pick themselves up because this ride is not straight like that. It's always like this.
And like this, right? I mean, it goes up and down and up and down, right?
So you should know the team who has been through that themselves to know how to manage money and how to get themselves in and out of those situations.
No,
and 99% don't, unfortunately.
Some people say that you need to look at the amount of developers behind the particular coin to see if it's real or not. What do you think about that? They said
no, I don't believe in that because nowadays there are so many platforms out there. You can just pull up a platform, do a little bit of a change, and away you go. And to get a blockchain platform, it's all open source. So you just pick up a good open source hub and you put in your bits on it on top, and away you go. I mean, it's not that difficult.
So
Really isn't.
so it doesn't really matter.
Nope.
Which, if you look at it today, you mentioned Shiba coin and some of these other coins. I mean, if you look at it, what would you say is like, and we're not trying to be a financial show, but I mean, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, are there other coins out there that would, that you think are really interesting for the, as a truly a more stable coin?
Yeah. Uh, so first there is transactional types of coins. So if it's a stable coin, you're not buying it for investment. So you have all the variants of USD, USDC, TT, and all these. Okay, those are just for doing transactions, for sending money, for one of better words. Okay, then you have the Bitcoin types of categories, and there is only one Bitcoin, and there are lots of variations of the same blockchain, because people do their own variations of it, like the Bitcoin Cash, etc., Bitcoin Gold. There's so many. Okay, and I'm involved in one called the Jax Network. But what Jax Network has done has built another layer on top of it to make the transaction fees a lot less, and use the equity from the Bitcoin to burn it to create value of the coin to go up. It's again supply demand kind of a model. So additional value add on the back of a solid coin. So that's what we are doing at Jax. And then if you look at some of the other coins where they've got, like the Ethereums, the Solanas, the Matics, the Hederas, blah, blah, blah. Okay. These are blockchain infrastructure types of things, or a layer that sits on top of a core blockchain. And what they're trying to do is add value. So if you, on an Ethereum blockchain network, your costs of transactions are quite high and it's slow. Those are the two main issues with some of these things. So they put in another layer to bring the transaction costs right down and the speeds much, much faster to compete with the Visas of the world. That is the nirvana here, right? So when you take those sorts of technologies, what's going to happen? People will start using that in all their future blockchain transactional technologies. So those would be good ones to look at. Then you've got a third category, what I call day-to-day business, bricks and mortar types of businesses. Okay, so where someone is buying, selling things, be it a banking instrument, be it a loan, be it whatever it is, those types of coins, which is what people are used to today, NFT types of coins, where people have a business model like the eBays of the world, but in an NFT world. All right, that's the thing. And what we are doing at MyTC is bringing a lot of this together under one platform.
Wow.
As a business.
That sounds real interesting. And where's the company located? Is it in Dubai, or is it in the UK, or where is
it? Wyoming.
There you go.
Right on your doorstep, buddy.
Where the deer and the antelope play,
Right on your doorstep.
Wyoming? Why, you hear about it. I know a little bit about it, but tell the audience, why is Wyoming such a good place?
Do you know, Gary, with the current climate, what's happening in America, it is very sad. I don't want to make this political, but you get some states who have said, you know what, screw this. Let's do some things what we think is right for the state. And in America, it's not one country. It's one country with different mini countries, so it can be run like that. So yes, they state law, but what they'll do is they'll say, for doing digital currencies, blockchain, etc., we see that this is good. This is very good for the future because A, it brings value, B, it brings productivity, C, it brings the costs down for doing a lot of things, and it is the future of currency for a start. Okay, so in so doing, the senators and I forget the lady's name now, Linda something. Anyway, what they've done is they created regulations to say, we are going to make crypto more acceptable in this country. We've got the regulations. You can do the banking. You can do the company registrations. You will have regulations if you're doing wallet, banking, loans, whatever. It's fully regulated. And at the end of the day, it's under a US banner rather than, don't want to call out names, some small Caribbean island or some little whatever island, right?
Yeah,
So
well,
it's
at
under
least you have
proper
the rule.
regs,
You got the
and it's
rule
under
of
proper
law.
regulation. So
Right.
Wyoming, because of the leadership there, is becoming really big on the world stage now. Of
Mhm.
course, Dubai, and you know I'm based in Dubai as well. So in Dubai, this is happening, and what we are trying to do there as well is create some of these regulations. Some of them already exist, but creating them to make it even better. Because at the end of the day, there are certain things, the weather, the people, the security, the lifestyle, all this comes into play as well, and obviously the taxation, right? So that helps.
Got it. All right, listen, we're coming up to the top of the hour. Closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you?
Oh, very easy. Google Mru Patel, Mru Patel. Add me on LinkedIn. I'm all over the place. Mru at mrupatel.com. That's my personal. And Mru at mytokenized.capital.
That's great. Mru, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on my show today, and it's great to
It's an
see you
honor.
again.
It's an honor.
Appreciate the time, and fellow Sunner, and in this, I remember we talked about the solar system and
Yes. Oh
all
my God.
those
And
things.
that's what's happening now, if you think about it. That's
It is.
exactly what's happening.
It's happening. So
It's
I want to
happening.
thank you for coming on the show, for
Most
sharing
welcome.
your incredible experience. To everybody out there, my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the host of GST Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. Thanks for joining us today for another exciting episode. I will be back again Thursday. Stay tuned, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. Again, my name is Gary Fowler. See you later. Take care. Thanks, Mru.
Thank you, Gary. Great being with you. See you soon again.
See you soon.
Cheers, buddy. Bye.